Hello, this is the first ever live version of the Glover Unfiltered show, or at least that's what I'm calling it for now. I'd like to thank you all for joining me, all zero of you that have joined in so far. It's a great honor having you here. But yeah, anyway, if you are watching this, or you're watching this later, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk a lot about the upcoming Canadian election on April 28th. We're going to talk a lot about Mark Carney, especially, and so far this episode is named the vote against Mark Carney, and it's basically going to be the reasons not to vote for him. Personally, I do not think he's the right choice for Canada. We've already had almost 10 years now of the Liberals. Things have gone massively downhill, and if we elect Mark Carney, things are not going to get better. He's just going to keep putting this country down the hole, and yeah, it's not going to be great, but let's get into it. Like I said, we're here to discuss why you should not elect Mark Carney. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. If you really feel, especially after watching this video, if you still feel Mark Carney is the right choice, then go out and vote for Mark Carney. I really want everybody to get out there on election day, regardless if you vote simultaneously, or if you align with my political views and you vote for who I vote for, or if you go vote for a third party, or even if you vote for the Liberals. The most important thing is just get out there and vote. It's your right and your duty as a citizen to help guide this country to where it's going to go. So without further ado, let's get into it. So Mark Carney, he's obviously tried to distance himself lately from Justin Trudeau, but he's really going to have a tough time to distance himself from Justin Trudeau. He was Justin Trudeau's right-hand man for the last 5 years. He was his economic advisor. They're good friends. In fact, Justin Trudeau is actually currently out there going door to door. He's campaigning for Mark Carney actively. He really wants Mark Carney to get in. Obviously, this is his party. It's Justin Trudeau spent the last 10 years shaping into what it is, and Mark Carney is Justin Trudeau 2.0, and he's going to jump right into his shoes, and it's not going to be great for the country. So, yeah. So the reasons you should not obviously elect Mark Carney is, all the things that the Liberal Party has done to this country, like the fact they've allowed mass immigration. The price of housing has doubled under Justin Trudeau in the last 9 years. So if you can't afford a house, that's one great reason not to elect the Liberals. So why are things not going to change under Mark Carney? Well, the fact that 89% of his cabinet is the exact same people as Justin Trudeau. He even has Krista Freeland as his right-hand woman. She's been heavily involved in the party. She obviously knew, even though they just had the election for the party leader, she knew that he was going to win. She even alluded that she would have dropped out if it would have helped Mark Carney win, but that's a whole another issue on itself, whether that was even a fair election or not. I doubt there'd be an investigation into it, but I'd really love to know. Mark Carney, he really just got terrible ideas, and he knows that everybody knows it. He's now actively trying to steal Pierre Poilievre's part of his platform. He's even pretended or potentially eliminated the carbon tax, but he's only eliminated the carbon tax that we personally pay, the consumer carbon tax. He's not even eliminated the industrial carbon tax, which is actually higher than what the consumer carbon tax was. It's going to keep going up, and they're going to pass the cost rate on to you. And fact being, come April 29th, if Carney actually wins, he may just add that carbon tax rate back on. He's not gone through legislation to eliminate this carbon tax. All he's done, he's changed it from whatever it was, 20-something, 30%, 20% or something, and he's just gone down and changed it to 0%. So that's really not going to help. Now, Mark Carney's a known liar. The fact that he's now been caught with 10 acts of plagiarism in his PhD that he got from Oxford University over in Europe. And he actually claims to be European, so whether you think he's really even for this country or not, I think it's highly doubtful when he claims to be European before he even claims to be Canadian. The fact that he is the current Prime Minister and he doesn't even bother moving his family to Canada. His wife and kids live in New York, and not to mention Mark Carney actually hasn't permanently lived in Canada for his residency up until the election for the leader of the Liberal Party. The fact he's, since he became the governor of the Bank of England was the last time that he lived in Canada as his permanent residency. So you really think he's for Canadians? I really don't. Mark Carney, when he first came in power, what was the first thing he did? Did he try and deal with all these crises that we're having? Was he trying to make a deal with Trump? No, he wasn't. First thing he did is he flies to Europe. He goes there on a somewhat vacation, goes, talks to a few leaders, tries to make it look good. Wasn't great. Now, he's already been caught in a massive scandal for this party. He had Paul Chang actually actively called for the conservative member in his riding that he's running against to be collected and sent to the Hong Kong, given to the Chinese government, when they know absolutely for a fact that he would have obviously been executed. Anyone who gets $1 million bounty on them from China and gets deported back to China, or it gets caught by China, they're gonna get executed 100%. And he knew that for a fact. Mark Carney stood behind him until the RCMP decided to open up an investigation, and then that's when Mark Carney finally decided to fire Paul Chang, which is way too late. Can you really even trust a guy like that? Probably not, but whatever you feel like. Now, he's had a lot of problems with his company, Bloomfield, I think that's what it's called. But he's had a lot of problems. The fact that he just got caught with 2 different accounts over in Bermuda because he was trying to avoid taxes. It was worth a combined $25 billion that he didn't want to have to pay taxes on in Canada. And then not to the fact, since he's moved his company out of Canada, because he's so pro-Canadian that he decided to move his own investment firm out of Canada. He made the choice long before he was even in the running for Prime Minister. It was back in October that he decided to move his company out of the country. So it's not great. And since he's moved his country, since he's been in control, he has actually avoided paying over $5 billion in taxes in Canada. That could have went pretty far in Canada, I would have to say. But he had a really great start to his campaign. One of his MPs that's riding with him posted a picture of him that was AI edited, of him coming off the tour bus, but instead the bus was saying Liberal said retard. So he's got some great MPs working for him. He just chooses the best of the best. Now, talking about also with his investment firm, Carney is extremely against any pipelines going across Canada. He said he will not repeal Bill 69, which is the anti-pipeline law. But he's more than happy to invest in pipelines overseas. A $10 billion pipeline through the United States is the latest investment. That deal's not quite complete, but it's about to be. He's going to get huge kickbacks from that deal. But he's super anti-pipeline for anything going through Canada, which would, extremely help Canada. It would help us avoid any having to deal with the States and having to count on them as our main trading partner. We could pump oil or gases all across Canada. It would actually be much more efficient. It would be a lot better environmentally. But does he really truly care about the environment? Probably not, but he has to put on the good act, and he makes a huge fortune from it, and so that's not about to stop. Now, Mark Carney has decided that he's going to steal the candidate spot in the riding in Ottawa because, for starters, it's a surefire that he's going to win his seat there in Ottawa. He kicked out the candidate for being outspoken about Hindu issues. which, I mean, well, it's just the person Mark Carney is. Now, you really can't trust the Liberal Party, and you got to realize if you're voting for Mark Carney and the Liberal Party, you're not voting solely for Mark Carney. You're also voting for everything they've done in the last 9 years. Almost every person running is already a current candidate. They're trying to hope to gain back a couple seats. I really hope they don't, but so far the pollings have changed massively. Obviously, before Trudeau dropped out, Pierre was winning by double digits. And now they're neck and neck. They're about 39% each of the polling. So, but one of the worst things that that Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party have done in the last 9 years is they basically took away workers' rights to vote. Anytime that someone like the railway, the dock workers, teachers union, etc., anytime anyone's basically trying to strike, they're now just going to mandate you back to work. They're not going to give you a fighting chance. They're just going to send you right to binding arbitration, and you can just get the deal you get because they don't care about you really, and your workers' rights are dead. Now, there's also been an absolute downfall. If you've been to a hospital in the last 10 years, if you've ever been to a hospital before that, you'll know, you've seen it. The wait times are longer. It takes you way longer to get in. Like, you're spending hours in the emergency room. If you need to get anything medically procedure done, this could take you about a year waiting period just to get anything done. The Liberals have completely destroyed the healthcare system. It's not 100% up to the Liberals. It is a conjoined system between the provincial level and the federals, but most of the funding does come from the federals. They need way more funding and they need way more structure. And not to mention, we just have a huge shortage of doctors, which Pierre Poilievre, he's actually going to get rid of the redlining that does not allow doctors to work in one province to the others. And he's also going to create a system so that doctors can come from out of the country and do whatever it is they have to do much quicker, that they can get their certification. So if there's a doctor that wants to come live in Canada and practice in Canada, he will be able to do that in a very short time. They're going to give him his credentials basically once he can prove that he has the competence. So it'll be a much better system that way. Back to the polls. Mark Carney has almost now, basically, it's an even playing field in the polls. You might ask how this happened when Pierre was just up by double digits. He was up by 25-ish points at his high point. This is actually a very normal thing that happens when a new party leader is elected, especially if he's in the middle of, if he takes over as the prime minister, especially before people really get to know him and what he believes and stands for and does. He'll take a huge jump in the polls, and then he will slowly come back down to earth. Depending on how he does in that time, is where he'll really level out. But Mark Carney decided to call an election super quick. He called the shortest election in Canadian history because he really does not want people to get to know who he is. The more people that get to know who he is, the worse his chances of winning are. They're going to realize he's just Justin Trudeau. It's not going to be a great thing for him. So what's Pierre doing? What's Carney doing? He apparently did have a productive meeting, and it was a great meeting according to Trump, and Canada is going to do great things. So Trump, who has actually endorsed Carney, which I believe the only reason he endorsed Mark Carney is because he knows that he doesn't want to deal with Pierre. Pierre's a much stronger leader. He's a way better debater, fighter. He doesn't want to have to deal with Pierre when he could just deal with Carney, and Carney is a pushover, and he'll basically just give him whatever he wants, like the fact that once Trump announced the tariffs, which was actually even that he was going to put the tariffs on if he even won the election, which, I mean, obviously there was a good chance Trump was going to win the election. It looked like that in the polls. Rallies were much bigger, just like Pierre's rallies are much bigger. And he was leading huge in the polls, but once he announced that they were going to potentially, after it was in a tweet before he had won the election, made the decision to move his company over to the United States into Donald Trump's hometown in New York. So who do you really want to deal with Trump? Do you think Carney's going to be able to do a good job? The fact that, they had a meeting and Trump came out just guns a-blazing, saying how great of a meeting it was, giving this guy praise. We all know the only time Donald Trump really does that is when he's beaten somebody in a conversation, in the debate, negotiation. If Trump's praising you, there's a good chance you lost the negotiation. And whether you know it or not, doesn't really matter. But Trump certainly got the upper hand on you. Now, some of the spots we'll talk now about where Pierre and Carney disagree and they separate. Bill C-69, the anti-pipeline law. Carney, if it's in Canada, he's super against it. Anywhere else in the world, 100%. If he can make $1 off of it, you go for it. Even though Canada does basically everything more environmentally friendly, so it's terrible. So he doesn't want that. Pierre, he's 100% going to open up the pipelines. He's going to have new pipelines built. He wants to expedite the time it takes to get a permit to get a mine. He wants to be able to mine all these minerals, everything great that we have in Canada. Right now, the current waiting time is 17 years to get a permit to open a mine, where he's going to knock it down. You'll be able to get a permit for a mine in 1 year. You'll be able to start making that money. It's going to be fantastic. They'll be able to start pulling minerals and everything out of the ground in Canada. Canada will become a much richer country. It's going to be fantastic. It's just like, Denmark, they could, if they were allowed to mine everything that they have there, their oils, their minerals, Denmark could be a very, very rich country. But instead, they're not allowed to mine anything, which is not even their own choice. It's actually Denmark's. It's actually Denmark's choice because they have control over Greenland and they will not allow them to mine anything there. And they don't want them to be rich and prosperous. They want to be able to control them a lot easier. Personally, I think Greenland should maybe even try and somehow amalgamate with Canada, either become a union or one giant country. And I think we could probably be the strongest country in the world. We'd be by far the richest country in the world. It would be a fantastic partnership, and it would keep the U.S. from trying to come in. I mean, they're not a fan of being part of Denmark anyway. They get treated terribly. So, they should just allow them to come on in. I shouldn't say we should allow them just to come on in. We should make a deal or make just join countries or something along those lines. Now, back to the pipeline and production of oil and gas. Carney's not going to lift the production cap. He's already said it. That the production cap will say on gas, oils, anything, the emissions cap is here to stay. He's not willing to negotiate. He's not willing to talk about it. Pierre, he's going to lift the cap 100%. He is going to allow them to produce as much oil, as much gas as they possibly want. We're going to pump it out. We're going to sell it. Gas and oil is going to get a lot cheaper within Canada, and we're going to make a lot of money exporting it. We're going to have people are going to finally be back in the middle class because so many people have fallen out of the middle class. People are finally going to start making money if we do elect Pierre. But if you elect Mark Carney, he's not going to help you with that. He's going to keep increasing the carbon tax on industries. He wants them to go all the way up to 60% plus. He wants to add a carbon tax for any tariff for any country that doesn't have a carbon tax. So he's going to charge you an extra 25% if your country doesn't have a carbon tax. I don't know if countries would maybe just start putting on a 0.01% carbon tax to get around that, because probably all you need, because it will technically still count. Now, let's talk about Jagmeet Singh for a minute. The fact that if he had actually decided to call the election, if he had the balls to do it, if he wasn't, too buddy-buddy with Justin Trudeau and counting on everything, he would have actually been running for the official opposition. Instead now, it looks like Jagmeet actually going to lose his own riding. He's actually looks like he's going to lose it massively by about 50% of the vote. He's going to be about 50% less than the next guy who's in his riding. So he could have been the official party opposition of the official leader of the opposition. Now his party may even actually lose party status. People hate them even more than they hated the Liberals 6 months or even a year ago when Justin Trudeau was still the leader. So that's just a huge political fail for Jagmeet Singh. It was probably one of the worst choices, political moves that anyone has ever made in Canada. Not to call an election just because he wanted his own pension, which he would have easily gotten as the opposition leader of the opposition. So, but Jagmeet, he's now going to cause his own party to potentially go bankrupt, lose party status, and who knows what they will do. They'll maybe just combine with the Liberals, or maybe they'll start a new party somewhere, join somebody else. Now, more between Carney and Poilievre. Carney wants absolute net zero, and not just within Canada. He's trying to get net zero within basically the entire Western countries. He doesn't care so much about the non-Westernized countries, because obviously they're not going to follow it anyway. But he also makes big money over investments over there, so he doesn't want to step on their feet. China's already come out. They've endorsed Mark Carney. He's good friends with them. Why do you think they haven't even bothered to mention the 100% tariffs that China just put in on Canada? So they're all worried about Trump's tariffs, which are about a 10%, depending what it is. Some things are a little higher, but it's a pretty flat rate of 10%. But they're not worried about the 100% coming in from China. Why? Because no one's going to pull the Chinese products off the shelf. Most products come from China. If we pull them off, our shelves are going to be 100% empty. You're not going to be able to afford anything anyway. And so, you know what? Let's just, too bad for our own people. It's not even mentioned in the news because you wouldn't want to do that. Plus, who's paying the people's wages in the news? It's funny, the government. So, you don't want to go too negative on them. So Carney actually has decided to not participate in the French debate. Why? Because he barely speaks French. I think this is actually really going to hurt him in Quebec, and it's really going to hurt him in the long run. He's certainly going to lose some seats there, which he needs a stronger holding in Quebec. Whoever basically wins Toronto area is going to most likely win this election. But if you can take Toronto and Quebec, you will basically 100% secure a win in this election. That party will be the next leading party with whoever does that as the prime minister. But if you can secure Toronto, you've got about, like the GTA, you've got about a 75% chance to win this election, and then you got about a 99.9% chance if you can secure Quebec as well. It's basically where a majority of the power of Canada lies, is within two smaller regions because there's population so dense. And some people would say more than one way. No, I'm just kidding, Toronto. I'm actually a huge Leafs fan, so I love Toronto. But don't vote Liberal. Mark Carney, he's going to put, we've already talked about this, but he's going to keep increasing the carbon tax on industries. He wants to hit certain industries harder than other, like steel, because he believes we don't need steel for anything. The fact that, most of these buildings wouldn't be standing if it wasn't for steel. You wouldn't be driving your automobile. It would be way more expensive if they jack up the price of steel. Even a lot of phones, medical devices, all this stuff use steel, but not according to Mark Carney, because who needs steel now in modern day life? We've got, I don't know what else we build products out of aside from steel and plastic, and he probably wants to get rid of plastic too. But, anything that makes him look better on that environmental agenda, he'd love to eliminate. Now, another difference where Mark Carney and Pierre differ is free speech. Pierre's already said he's going to eliminate all the free speech laws that the Trudeau administration put in. They put in 2 or 3. They put in the online censorship bill, one where you can't share news on Facebook anymore because Bill C-13, I believe it is, the one that actually made Jordan Peterson somewhat pretty famous, the one that drove his popularity up. The compelled speech law is basically what it's known for and known as, the one that's going to force you to use certain words or there will be dire consequences. But Mark Carney, he's all for limiting free speech. In fact, he won't even take a lot of questions. If the question's too hard, he just brushes you away. He gives you a very rude response, and he just refuses to answer questions that are difficult. And of course, Pierre, he says he's going to axe the tax. He doesn't mean he's just going to put it to 0%. He's going to go through Parliament. He's going to put in legislation to take the carbon tax from what it's at and the increasing rate, and he's going to put that and the consumer carbon tax, just 100% eliminate them. He's not going to change the consumer carbon tax or the industrial carbon tax to 0. That's not enough. He wants to make sure it's not coming back, because the majority of Canadians do not agree with it. People are all happy that he's gotten rid of the consumer carbon tax for the time being, which I still personally believe he's just going to put it right back on if he wins the election. But right now we're saving 17 cents at the pump, and everybody's happier than a pig and you know what. So everyone's, happy that we're saving at the pump, but what it should really make you realize is how much the Liberals have cost you over the last several years, and with this carbon tax, that look at how much cheaper gas is. Just the fact that you're not paying the extra taxes on it. I mean, there's still plenty of tax on gas. You're just not paying an extra one, which was actually charged after other taxes, so you're paying an even higher percentage. So that was fantastic. Now, Pierre does plan on saving you more money. He's actually planning on the biggest tax cut in Canadian history to the middle class, where Mark Carney, he's only planning on giving you a 1% tax break, which is about the smallest tax break in Canadian history. So that'll, really help the wallet. I mean, it's true, anything is better than nothing, but if he was really trying to help, he'd lower it a little more, and many other ways to start bumping the economy. And he is apparently an economist. He's got a doctorate of which he plagiarized. So it's definitely the economist you want to pick. Sarcasm, obviously. And Pierre, he's also going to help the seniors. He's planning on, for the seniors, he's going to increase the amount they can make, an extra $10,000 per year before they start paying any taxes at all. So that'll allow seniors to make up to, I believe it's $35,000 tax-free. And he's also going to lower their tax rate for seniors, so they'll be paying even lower amount of taxes if they make more than $35,000. He's allowed them to, or everybody, you can now keep your RRSPs an extra 2 years. You'll be able to keep them now to the age of 67 before you have to either cash out all your investment or reinvest them in a different way. So you can keep growing your everything tax-free. Oh, well, you might notice that shaking. That's my cat deciding to hit the camera. So it's pretty awesome. All right, let's fix that there. So yeah, it's a lot better. I don't know about you guys, but I'm quite excited to see the debate between Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre. I believe that Mark Carney is absolutely going to oh boy, that's embarrassing. I believe that Pierre Poilievre is absolutely going to wipe the floor with Mark Carney in the debate coming up on April 16th. And Mark Carney has refused to participate in the French one the next day on April 17th. I just realized I said March 16th the first time, but on April 17th. First he claimed it was because of the $75,000 fee to enter. Then Pierre Poilievre offered to pay that $75,000 fee for him if it was too much. And he never responded, and he's just continued that he will not participate in that debate because he knows how terrible it would make him look. So yeah. Reasons why you really shouldn't elect the Liberals and Mark Carney is because of all the pain they put us through in the last 10 years. For starters, last time when Stephen Harper left office, Canada had the strongest middle class in the world. And now we have one of the worst middle classes in all of Western civilization. We're poorer than ever. We're now about $30,000 per capita lower in our GDP. In the richest province in Canada is $35,000, or sorry, $30,000 more poor than the poorest state in the United States per GDP. So that's just an absolutely horrible statistic. It's really hurting Canadians as it's just shows how far we've fallen down in the economic standards in Canada here. And some of the problems that we have here in Canada that have been caused by the Liberals in the last 10 years. We have thousands of homeless encampments, over 1,400 just in Ontario alone, and thousands more across the country. Over 2 million people are now going to food banks in Canada. That is record highs. We've even back in, it's the highest we've ever had visiting food banks is right now. Now, if you don't feel safe going out in the streets, or people have been attacked, that's because violent crime rates have gone up 40% and murder rates have gone up 50% in Canada. So the fact that if you are thinking about electing another Liberal government to just continue with catch and release, because clearly that's not doing anything. Not to mention that, and they've already decided that Canadians are no longer can be trusted to have guns. They've decided no more handguns for anybody. You can't go buy a handgun anymore, no matter your license. They've restricted firearm laws. They're definitely anti-safety. They don't want you to be able to protect yourself, and they're not going to protect you. So fend for yourself, but they will charge you if you do. So poverty's up to 25% in Canada. 25%. So 1 in 4 people are poverty-stricken in Canada. Which coincidentally, 1 in 4 children now go to school hungry because their parents can't afford to feed them before school, which extremely harms their ability to learn, can cause behavioral issues. It's absolutely horrible. And there's just massive lineups at the food banks. A lot of food banks can't even keep up to feed people anymore. And the problem's probably not going to get any better, especially if you elect the Liberals. Right now, the unemployment rate's at 6.7%, and it's expected to gain at least 1 more percent to either about 7.7 or even potentially all the way up to 8%. We're expected to lose a multitude of jobs. Obviously the tariff war and here is not helping with the economy, and the Liberals are just making everything worse. They're not allowing us to open up the economy in general. They're keeping us basically bottlenecked and suffocated. Just under Justin Trudeau and the Liberals in the last 10 years, Canada has lost $500 million in investments within Canada. They've gone mainly to the United States, but some over to Europe and elsewhere throughout the world. So we've lost over $500 million in Canada, and that's really affected the economy, and most people can see it and feel it. We had, as I said earlier, we had the best middle class in the world just 10 years ago, and we've now fallen to either the worst or one of the worst in the Western civilization. We're the slowest expanding country in the G7, and we are expected to be the slowest growing nation in the G7 for the next 15 years, all the way up until 2040 is by the time they expect we'll potentially be able to recover our economy to start accelerating and keeping up with others. It now takes, especially in the Toronto area, mainly the Toronto area and Vancouver, which is the 3rd most expensive housing market in the world. Not just in Canada, the 3rd most expensive in the world. But you can't blame it just 100% on the Liberals for that exact housing market. It has actually been the 3rd highest for many of years. It was high long before they ever took over. But everywhere throughout the country has just gone through the roof. Now in the Toronto area, it takes you more than 25 years just to be able to save up a down payment on the average wage there. Not to mention then, even if after you save up for 25 years and buy that house, now you have another 25 years of paying that house off. So you're minimum 50 years into a house. So even if you start saving at 20, you're 70 by the time you're out. You already want to be retired by then, but that's probably not going to happen. And then who knows what's going to happen with the economy between now and then, not to mention. So federal debt is now over $1 trillion. Just under the Trudeau administration, the Liberals racked up more debt to the Canadian total than every single prime minister did combined, all the way from John A. Macdonald to Stephen Harper. If you combine every single penny they spent and went over the budget and had to borrow, Justin Trudeau has exceeded that amount by, I think it was about a couple billion or maybe $20 billion. He exceeded that total amount by, which is absolutely insane. Until Canada is able to start making massive cuts, I think we need to bring in our own version of Doge. We need to start cutting federal funding for certain things massively. We need to stop sending money over to other countries. Foreign aid, it's not doing us well. Unless we're getting economically further from this ahead from this foreign aid, we can't afford to give it right now. We have so many problems here in Canada, like homelessness. Our hospitals are overwhelmed. We need more hospitals. We need more staff. There's huge shortages. We need way more houses. We got to keep building houses, which Pierre, he's going to lower regulations. He's going to force municipalities and provinces to lower regulations. He's already said he'll hold out federal funding from these provinces and territories if they don't lower the regulations, push through the permits, make them cheaper. He's going to take the HST off of any home under $1.3 million. He's going to have houses built way faster. Carney claims he's going to build the most houses in history. I don't believe that. And not to mention, the reason he wants to build so many houses and he wants the government's hand in it is because his company, which he claims not to have any part of, but we all know that's not true, they're trying to get into the Canadian housing market. So who do you think is going to be building most of those houses? And he never mentions, he doesn't talk about the fact of house ownership. He's just the fact you want to live in a house. And who do you think is going to own that house? It's going to be his investment firm. I think it's called Brookfield. Yes, Brookfield. They're going to own that investment property. It's going to keep going up. They're going to keep jacking up your rent. The Liberals will not do anything to protect your rent from going up, and he's going to make an absolute fortune off of it, and he'll be worth way more when he leaves office than when he comes in if he is elected for another 4 years. So we cannot afford here in Canada to elect him for another 4 years. We've already gone through so much hardship in the last 10 years that if we elect a Liberal government for another 4 years, I don't even know what Canada will look like at the end of this. It's just going to keep going downhill. Everybody's going to get poorer. The cost of living is going to keep going up. It's going to be harder and harder to live. So, I mean, if you've already felt the fact that things are harder than they were 10 years ago, don't vote Liberal. It's the exact reason why things are getting harder. They make terrible decisions. They spend way too much money. Everything they do, I mean, not everything they've done, but most things they've done, it's against you. They've also made many of false claims against Pierre Poilievre. They said he's going to eliminate that $10 a day childcare. He's actually never even mentioned it in any of his speeches, his campaign. He's got no plans on it. He actually plans to expand programs to help parents. He wants to look into, anyway. So, basically all I'm saying is, if life hasn't gotten better for you in the last 10 years, why would you keep electing this Liberal government? It's time for change, and whether you think that the Conservatives are the correct party for the change or you think somebody else is, it's the most important thing for you just to get out there, let your voice be heard. You gotta inform people, bring people out to vote with you. Whether you're gonna vote in alliance with me, whether place your support or your vote, I mean, is he even the best man for the job? I'm not 100% sure he is. Is Conservative the best party? Probably not. But we only have two choices here in Canada. I'd certainly like to get to know even a little more about Pierre. You know, I'd love to meet the man, talk to him, have a conversation, see what he truly believes, like Joe Rogan style, which he's actually apparently going to be on. I'd love to see that if he is. I think it could really help push along his career. And depending, I think one issue that hasn't been brought up enough here in the election is this trucker rally that happened that Justin Trudeau decided to call a national emergency for. It was the first time ever to call a national emergency, which was then deemed to actually be unconstitutional, and it was illegal the fact that he did it. And then he even had the people who were organized it, Tamara Lynch and I think his name was Chris, I can't remember 100% now, the name's slipping my mind. He had them charged, which their verdict just came down actually a few days ago, that they were found guilty, which was a sham of a trial. I assume that they're going to be fighting back against these charges, and I really hope that they win. But it's going to be a long battle, expensive battle. The verdict will be coming up soonish. I don't know if they've set a date yet for the verdict, for the sentencing, but personally I hope they don't get any jail time, because they truly don't deserve it. No matter which side of this rally you stood on, I think you should at least be standing against the fact that they've charged these two people with mischief. The main reason they've charged them is because of the honking of the truckers. They especially didn't control the truckers, especially Tamara Lynch. She even actually put online asking people not to honk their horns anymore. People continue to do it. I know there were other people encouraging it. Potentially the other guy that she was charged with may have been one of those people encouraging it. I'm not super up to date on this case, but I do know that she was not one of the people, and she did actually in fact tell people not to honk their horns. And yet she somehow was looped into this. But everything is, it's a very political case, obviously. Yes, the justice system here in Canada is falling apart. Crime has gone through the roof. Poverty's gone through the roof. The healthcare has gone down the toilet. It's hard to think of things that have actually gotten better. What has Justin Trudeau and the Liberals really done in the last 10 years? They legalized marijuana. I think actually that was a pretty good thing that they did. They have actually brought down the price of child care, which I am greatly appreciative of, because I do use those discounts. They say they've gotten it down to $10 a day, which they have not actually gotten it down to $10 a day, or if they have, it's in very little places, because I'm not anywhere close to that, but I certainly still do receive some subsidies from it, which I am greatly appreciative, and I do hope it does actually one day go down to $10. It would be helpful, not just to me, but to thousands and tens of thousands of families, and really help cut down the costs and be able to put money where it's needed. So if you're thinking of who to vote for, look at your options, do your own research. Don't just listen to everybody online. There's a lot of information out there, and you're going to have to sift through it. There's a lot of fake news. So just do your best, do some critical thinking. Whatever you do, get out there and vote regardless who you're going to vote for. It's your right as a citizen, and it's your duty as a citizen. But just go ahead, go out there, make the right choice, and bring others along with you. And as always, stay curious, my friends.